Hey, what's up, everybody? Got a question that I hear a lot from guitar players, and the question is, how do I stay motivated to practice guitar? I've seen this one all over the place on the internet and forums and things like that, and just want to provide some insights to you on maybe how to get out of that feeling or how to get motivation or how that even works from a guitar player standpoint. My name is Matt Friedland. I'm a professional guitar instructor. I own a music studio in Tempe, Arizona. I'm the founder of the 360 Music System. Professional guitar player, went to Guitar University for jazz guitar performance. I've been playing guitar for several years and doing this professionally. In this video, what I want to do is I want to share with you some insights about, as a professional guitar player, where maybe professionals or where I get motivation from. And then from my experience of working with several students, hundreds of students over the years, is I think where the motivation starts to fall and how to fix that. And particularly as a guitar teacher, I want to motivate the students to practice. I mean, I want them to do well. I don't want them to lose momentum because their success is my success. So I want to share some insights with you about this concept today, and hopefully this is helpful to you. And if you get value from this, like and share this page, subscribe to the channel. So I had some notes here, and what I've seen so far is, lots of people talking about, getting momentum on the guitar. I've done some research on YouTube just to kind of see what's out there. I think one thing is like being comfortably challenged is what I saw. Maybe you're too bored with what you're playing might be one thing. People say a lot, listen to some music that inspires you, go put on a record and that'll inspire you to go play. And sure, I agree with that. I think there's some of that I've done myself in my early stages of playing. Have your guitar out and ready to play, so it's just there so you can pick up and grab it. I mean, sure, that helps. Buy a guitar you want to play, or something else I've heard. If there's a guitar that you want to play, then it's going to be more motivating for you to play it. And then one thing I thought was interesting was having momentum, something that you can build off of. But to that point, that what I saw this was that kind of moving from thing to thing, like keep your interest wide and diverse. So these are some things that I've heard, and I think there's some benefits to those, but I think there's some things missing that I want to share some insights with you, what I've kind of learned from working with students and myself about motivation to practice and play. I think some of these things are kind of like short term. I think maybe you get a spark by listening to some music, or maybe you get a spark by listening or buying a cool guitar or something like that. But the question is that like long term? Is that like kind of keep your interest long term, or is that just like, hey, this worked for a little bit, and now I got to figure out something else? So the key is you want that long term motivation. And so we think about like, what are some of the causes of being unmotivated as a guitar player? And I've experienced some of these, but we look at it and say, okay, well, it's too hard. Some things we look at, it's too overwhelming. There's so much stuff to get to. It's too complicated. It'll take too long. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm never going to get there. Why bother even picking up the instrument? Maybe when you do pick up the instrument, you don't have a structured game plan. You're not actually making any progress, and it's frustrating. And why would you want to continue doing something that you're frustrated with? Or maybe you're just not naturally good at it. You're just frustrated with that, or things of that nature. And I think we all kind of go through those things. I mean, it is very overwhelming, with all the things that we can learn on the guitar. And I think that one key ingredient to all this is whatever you want to accomplish. Yes, there's a lot to it, but consistency is really important. I think without consistency, ultimately, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually, achieve what you want to do. That could be whatever it might be, just, learning some songs, playing along with some records, being able to jam with some friends. Maybe you do want to start a band. Maybe you do want to be a teacher or a guitar professional or do gigs or whatever. I don't know. It could be anything on that range of spectrum. And wherever you are in that course, you might look at it and say, man, there's so much to do. And, it's just so overwhelming when you even look at your guitar, and it's just demotivating. And maybe it's like, hey, I'll just watch another video and get some more insights and consume more information. And I've been there too. And first thing is consistency and just taking action and being patient with the process. And it does take time. You'll also need a structured practice plan that you're actually, one, enjoying, that makes it fun and enjoyable, and that's producing results for you. So a lot of people struggle with like how to develop a practice plan and get momentum. And I think there's some insights or things that go into that that can really help out. But one thing that I think is kind of missing that you have to kind of consider for yourself in terms of why you want to play guitar. I mean, we all have our own reasons why we picked it up. I have my own reasons. I think for me, I didn't start playing music until I was about 18 going on 19. And it was really a matter because I've always loved music, especially in high school. I loved listening to it. I loved rock and blues and funk. And I had a lot of friends who were into music and they could even play. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I wish I could be like them and jam out. I would go to house parties and they jam out and want to play along with them and stuff like that. And you really love music. But the thing was, I failed at music a few times in grade school. And so I was playing sports at that time. I was a baseball player. When I gave up baseball when I was about 18, it was kind of like I have this kind of like identity kind of crisis thing going on. Like, who am I? What I once was is this baseball player who played competitively. I'm not that anymore, so I need to figure out who I am. And I loved music, and luckily I had a friend who kind of helped me get started, and that was really fun and enjoyable. And I just really took to it, and some things really took off, and I kind of developed a passion for it early on. So even though I started late, it was something that I really kind of grew into and developed and increased my skills. And then ultimately I said I want to be a professional, and there was a whole long road that went with that. But I think it was like the thing of like self-expression, the way that music makes you feel, whatever music that might be, whatever you like. But thinking back to why you got started in music and what you wanted to actually do. And actually, I had this very lofty dream that I wanted to be in a band and a rock star, play 30,000 seater, venues and stuff like that. And although I've never really achieved that, I have achieved the professional level as a musician. So setting a high target, just believing in yourself, and even if you fall short, you would even still accomplish a lot and feel good about your progress. And so I think sometimes people have limiting beliefs, like I'll never be able to do this, or I don't want to be in a band, it's too much pressure and all that kind of stuff. And I totally understand that, particularly if you're an adult and you've got a lot of stuff going on, your job, family, things are hard to put time into guitar. But you be careful about your limiting beliefs. If you tell yourself you can't do something, it's likely that it won't happen. But if you strive for something, say, hey, I really want to be in a band, or I think it should be good for me and I just want to try it out, or I hope to, maybe quit my job someday. If you tell yourself those things, then it's more likely that it'll occur than if you tell yourself it's not possible and your targets are too low. Because you're never going to really hit your target. You're always going to fall short. So if you have a low target, you're going to fall way shorter. And for a lot of guitar players, they had a low target when they started. They just wanted to learn some songs and play around the campfire, and it wasn't really a big aspiration, and they just didn't realize how much work was involved in actually, developing your ability to play and finding a method or a path that was actually fun to develop your ability to play. And so they just end up quitting. I've heard a statistic, I think it was like 9 out of 10 guitar players beginners fail in their first year. And it didn't turn out what they thought it was going to be, and maybe their goals were too low and it just didn't work out, and that's unfortunate. But you can also always pick it back up. Like I said, I failed 3 times in grade school, 3 different instruments basically, and I thought it was never going to happen for me, but I still loved music, and it was just finding the right connection and the right avenue. But the main point I want to make about that connection, the avenue, and the whole motivation to practice is thinking about why you got started, what you wanted to accomplish, setting your targets higher. But also, one thing that's missing is that a lot of people don't have enough meaning and purpose behind what they're actually practicing. So I think if you're looking to play guitar and you just want to have fun by yourself and that kind of thing, I think that's cool. But to me, overall, there's not enough meaning or purpose to why you're actually doing what you're doing. Why do we learn songs? Why do we learn scales? Why do we learn chords? Why do we work on our technique? Why do we work on any other skill that we need as a musician? Well, there has to be a meaning and purpose behind it. And when I think about music and the music that I listen to, and I'm sure the music that you listen to, if it's rock, funk, blues, jazz, whatever, most of this is in a band format. It's a group effort. There's a collection of people. And really the purpose of playing is the interaction, I believe, with other people. And once I experienced that, that gave me the meaning and purpose. Like, I want to play with other people, and I want that experience to be good. And I want people to like that. And I want to feel accomplished myself, and I want to be able to express myself. And so when you have an opportunity to play with somebody, or creating one, or looking at that in something that you are working towards, a lot of people get intimidated. It's like, well, I'm not ready to play with other people, or, what if I fail? And believe me, I failed many times playing with other people. But, the thing is, if you have a good experience playing with other people, this is where I think the magic of music comes in. There's a moment where you have a synergy with other people when you're playing with other people. And if you've experienced this is really awesome. And I think this is a thing that keeps people motivated regardless, whatever. Like, they want to get that again. And that was the case for me. If you haven't experienced that, then I highly encourage that you continue to practice and work on your skills that allows you to interact with other people, learn songs front to back, get your timing down, work on your foundational skills or improvisational skills if you need to, so that if you have the opportunity to play with other people, whether it's just a casual, hang with other people at a friend's house or a small party, or maybe there's people are having a jam session that you know of that you can attend, or just something that you can interact with people musically, anything where if you can experience that thing, that magic where the music just comes together, everybody's locking in and agreeing. It's really a special thing. And I think once you get that, you're going to say, hey, this is the reason why I practice. I know it's one of the main reasons why I practice is so that I can experience those things with other people and hopefully teach my students how to prepare, themselves so that they can experience that. So when they do have the opportunity to play with other people that have an expectation of what's going to happen, they know how to prepare. So it's going to be a good situation, and you'll have a positive result and you'll have fun, which is important. We do the work so that we have fun. And coming from an athlete's perspective, there's a saying for, the way that athletes train and prepare, which I look very similarly for music, is, you train hard so that the game is easy. And all the great athletes prepare that way. I mean, you study great athletes and think about how do they practice. And Michael Jordan, for example, he's like, I practice hard. I go through all these different situations. So when the game comes, I'm ready. I'm prepared for anything. And in music, to me, the game is, playing with other people. So whatever you practice should be in line with the situation of what's going to be useful for you to play with other people. So you can kind of narrow that down. Usually you're going to need to know songs is number one. So focus on songs and play along with recordings. If you're going to be in situations where you're going to jam or improvise, then you need ideas and vocabulary for that. You need rhythm, you need technique, you need to improve your ear. And so all those things, you work on those so when you're in the game, when you're playing with other people and you can execute those things, then it's enjoyable. You have this magic moment with people and it's really awesome. And then you're going to want to do it again and again. And hopefully you can make friends and relationships and you have the opportunities to do this again and again. And you can experience that. So I think that's really one of the biggest things, the keys to motivation musically, is going after that magic and that moment where you can play with people and you have a good experience and preparing in that sense. So hopefully that narrows down what you actually practice, what you focus on, so that what is really important for making you feel good for your experience. The other thing I would say is, if you don't have anything set up in the future, you have no meaning or purpose, you have no event, you have no opportunity to play with anybody, well, of course, you're going to have a lack of motivation. I mean, what's the reason for doing anything? I feel that way even as a professional. So it's like, I need something. Give me a gig. I teach all the time, so I'm always preparing for that. I structure classes with students so that they understand how to put things together, and I work with them on playing together so that I'm accountable to them. I've got to have all my stuff prepared. So got to know those tunes in and out. So always having something to look forward to is super important for getting motivation. So anyway, guys, I could probably talk about this forever, but just hopefully this was something that give you some new ideas and thoughts about, what to think about when you're actually practicing, and maybe creating some new opportunities for yourself that give you more motivation. And then once you get that, you're never going to really feel that you need the motivation again. You've already got it. You've got the spark, you've got the bug, and you just want to keep moving forward. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you checking out this video. Again, my name is Matt Friedland, and if you like this, share this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.